gonna be proud of me. Today I actually took a few minutes and looked at your questions so I could answer them in a more efficient manner. So yay! Yay for preparation! Hi everybody, today is another Plan As You Go video. It is February 7th, it is day 7 of Plan As You Go, and I am going to show you how I use my bullet journal, my Erin Condren horizontal, and my power sheets together in tandem over the course of an entire month. Like I said in the intro, I'm also going to be answering that's what I've been doing. You guys have been asking me questions in the comments in the previous day's video, and I've been trying to answer them to give me something to talk about, so I'm not just talking about the planning, although I do that too. I'm going to go first into my power sheets. I did not go back into them yesterday while I was working, but I did actually get some shit done, which makes me feel good. It feels good to get shit done. Let's take a look at what I actually got done today. Yesterday. We got the budget times scheduled, and I just went ahead and did it. I can't really schedule the days off because we need to talk about that, but for the budget times, I just picked a time every month, and it's flexible. It can fucking move if it needs to. And I got these scheduled. I picked topics, and I mean, they're not completely written out, but I emailed what I needed to email, and everything's way more figured out than it usually is. So I'm feeling good about that. I cooked with cauliflower last night. We made roasted cauliflower. The recipe is you dip the cauliflowers in, I forgot to put the garlic in it. No wonder it kind of didn't have that taste. But you dip it in a butter garlic mixture, and then you dip it in breadcrumbs with salt and pepper and Italian seasoning, and then you roast it till it's golden. It was really good. Like, the outside was crunchy, but the inside was creamy, and we had it with pork chops. Izzle in the comments, who runs the Wash You Wine Repeat podcast, mentioned that she uses Headspace when she's taking a shower or getting ready in the morning. That's something I might consider doing because I still haven't used it this month. But I think so far I'm making progress, as this is the first full week of February. Feeling good about that. So I'm gonna set that to the side, leave it open, and then go into my Erin Condren. Yesterday, I got all of this done except for giving the cat the medication. He was really energetic last night when Jesse got home, and we don't want to give him the flea meds because they're the ones you squirt on the back of the neck. We don't want to give them to him when he's super squirrely. So we'll try again tonight perhaps, but it may have to wait to the weekend when he's kind of sluggish in the middle of the day. I can't do it by myself. We have to tag team the cat. So that hasn't happened yet. But I don't think, we're gonna look and see tonight. Jess might have band practice though, which I'm gonna put in here.
Hi, could I speak to Cynthia, please?
This is her. So I just literally got a phone call while filming. I actually got it while the camera was running. My appointment today to go see the vascular surgeon has been postponed until Monday because they had to go to the operating room. Not for themselves, but to help someone else out. So I got to reschedule that. That's the first thing on my list. I put a canceled sticker because I didn't have a rescheduled one in that color. It's fine. I've got the new date. I'll move it around in a few minutes. It's actually for this coming up Monday. I'm gonna pull out a music munchkin and some other stickers to put in the band practice for Jess, and then we'll figure out the rest of this. But while I'm doing that, one of the questions I got from you guys yesterday, a couple of them about stickers and Erin Condren planners. So I'll answer the Erin Condren one first. Karen Wood asks, why do you prefer an Erin Condren planner? So I've looked at about 11 million planners on this channel, and I think that the reason I keep coming back to Erin Condren, specifically, their neutral layout is the one I like the best. There's three things about a planner that I like. I like the paper quality, I like neutrality in terms of color scheme, and I like the coil. And there are some planners like Inkwell Press where I love the paper, but they don't have a neutral color palette, and they have the wire O binding, which is something I don't like. Or the plum paper where you can get a neutral layout and it has the binding I like, but the paper's got this silky texture, and it really I don't like it. It's not my bag, baby. The Get to Work book was another planner that I really liked the paper of and I loved the layout of, but the binding I couldn't do it. So that's basically why I go with this. Now, am I so loyal to Erin Condren that I will never try another planner? I've used an Inkwell Press for a year before. Just for right now, it works, and I don't feel like messing with something that works. That's why I go with an Erin Condren. There were two questions about stickers, and I will answer them both together. The first one is from Jocelyn Squirrel, and she asked, what sticker kits or shops are your favorites for the horizontal EC? And then the second one was from Ravenesque, who said, what are your favorite Etsy shops for stickers? So my favorite shops, and I wouldn't say Etsy shops necessarily, because a lot of the shops I really shop with have moved off of Etsy with the change in fee structure or whatever it was. But the shops I use the most in terms of stickers and whatever are Krissyanne Designs, Once More with Love, Simply Gilded Washi, Those are the 3 main shops that I use on the regular. You see them in almost every spread. When it comes to horizontal kits, I have gotten some great ones and I will go back to them for kits for horizontal specifically. Cricut Paper Co. and K-Glam Co. They have a good variety of kits and they're beautiful for the horizontal. So those are the shops I generally go to. Honestly, I don't have a lot of variety of stickers, mostly because I know, much like the planner, I know what I like and I just use that. I'm not adventurous. I don't like incorporating a whole bunch of random new shit. I will sometimes, but generally speaking, I stick to what I like because I'm a creature of habit. Okay, so I added this band practice in. I don't know if it's happening tonight or not. He said he wasn't sure, so I can always cancel it if I need to, but I want to have it here so that I don't expect him home tonight if there is band practice. Knowing that, I have to think about what actually needs to happen today. Now that my doctor's appointment is canceled, I actually have a lot more time to work today than I originally thought, because my appointment was out of town, and so I was going to be gone for a couple of hours, which is really nice. Let's pull the power sheets out. Let's pivot from what I thought I was going to get done today. This will be a good time to continue the work that I've been working on from this stuff, do my planning for March. I think that those are 2 things that need a little bit more time than what I was going to be able to give them today. And now that I have the time, I think that this is a perfect opportunity. I may actually meal plan today too. I have it on tomorrow because tomorrow had a nice big amount of time. But if I meal plan today, then that means I might be able to get shopping done tomorrow. I'm not sure. I know for sure though, I do want to get March business plan, and I might want to start the tax prep. Okay, let me rephrase that. I don't want to start the tax prep, but I probably should start the tax prep. The other thing I know I need to do today is pick a song. I'm giving a sermon in April, and my quartet and I are going to be singing, but we were having some trouble finding a song, and since it's for my sermon, I'm going to spend some time. I got some suggestions from my patrons during our live yesterday, so I'm going to go digging through some stuff, see if I can find something so I can bring it and order the music and bring it with me to rehearsal next week. Okay, so I got Plan March Business on this sticker, and then this Just Start from Krissyanne Designs with a little side-eye Steve for taxes to just get going. Like, I don't have to get it done, I just need to start working on it. That's my Erin Condren situation for today. There was more I think I wanted to try and get done, but we'll think about that when I'm in my bullet journal. Ultimately, you know, these 2 kind of big things, the taxes and the Plan March Business, are both kind of big amorphous projects that require a lot of thought. So I'm going to start with one, and then I'm going to do this. I want to get this done, and then we'll start this, and so we'll see where that goes. Does that make sense? I have no idea. Maybe, maybe not. My caffeine's still kicking in this morning. While I am filling in my year in pixels, I actually have a question about my year in pixels from one of you guys yesterday. Elom76, I'm not really sure how to say that, said, how do you decide, for the year in pixels, how do you decide how your day was? Whether you take a pill or not, I understand, but the rest, my days are getting striped and what's not, and it's looking ugly. So I'm assuming what you're asking is, how do I decide if I'm gonna mark regular, oh hi mark? And by the way, there was another question about oh hi mark as well. Sorry, I feel like I'm all over the place. I thought I was being efficient, but apparently I'm not. Kutoto said, I noticed you say hi Mark after saying Mark. For the longest time, I thought you had another cat named Mark. Why do you say hi Mark and what started it? I saw somebody answered this in the comments, but I'll answer it. It's from the movie The Room. It's a terrible movie, but yet an amazingly terrible movie. You could look up oh hi Mark on YouTube and you'd see a clip of it. Anyway, sorry. Back to the other question. I took a painkiller last night. P.S. I lifted something I shouldn't have, and my kidneys were basically unhappy with me for the rest of the night. And by the evening, they were just grumpy as fuck. Generally speaking, the only time I mark... Oh, hi, Mark. Okay, stop now. Whoops. Oh, no, I ruined it. I didn't ruin it. I'll just white it out, but oopsie. Whoopsie. Wasn't that from Mortal Kombat? Yay, for a whole year of this. I'll have to find something else to put there eventually to make it look pretty again. Now that I'm like losing my shit. Generally speaking, when I decide, even my regular ass days, I'm not feeling great. I have chronic pain and chronic illness, so my regular days, my baseline is pretty crummy. When it's bad though, and I don't take a painkiller, I know it. Now the difference for me is that, like, was the pain in a day at some point during the day bad enough to derail me, but I didn't take a painkiller? Like, that's my judgment. I don't go deep into the weeds of how I was feeling throughout the day. If I have a day where at some point in the day the pain was bad enough to derail me and I didn't take a painkiller, I mark it as a shitty pain day, even if there were parts of the day where I felt relatively okay. So that's how I judge it. Now, you could go a lot deeper, a lot more into the weeds, especially with pain. There's a lot more shades to it than just regular, crappy, super crappy. Like, there's more gradients to that, but for the sake of tracking, what I'm really looking at here is, did I take a painkiller or did my day get derailed? Those are the things I want to know. I'm not as concerned with pain levels as much as how it impacted my life, and taking a painkiller or having where I have to stop what I'm doing and rest for 3 hours because I'm hurting. That's what I want to know. How often does that happen? So that's how I decide. I don't know if that helps or not, but that's basically my yardstick on it. By the way, I just want to say that I feel like so far I am living out my word of the year in connecting with you guys, both here on the channel and on my Instagram at Llama Letters. I'm trying really hard to at least be present in the comments for the first couple of hours after a video goes live. It's something I used to do, I was better at, and then I got sick and I just wasn't feeling great, and so I stopped being able to. It's overwhelming to get comments, but to try and really respond, and I do always read them. I get notifications in my email and I just sort of collect them until I have time to sit down and read. But to actually be there responding in real time is something that's important to me, and I've been working on it. It's actually kept me from doing some other things, but that's fine. It's a priority for me, as you can see. So I just wanted to bring that up because I'm proud of myself for that. So I got this done yesterday. The other things I did not get done. Let me go look at my list. I think I might have checked things off already on it. I'm not sure. Got some stuff checked off of my list. That's always fun. Today's doodle challenge is ginger. And when I say that, it makes me think, do you remember that episode of South Park where I feel like it was like Oprah's like vagina was talking to Oprah's butthole or whatever? Going like, Minji! Do you guys, I don't know if you remember that, but I remember that. When I said ginger, that was the first thing I thought of. My brain. Tina Thomas asked me if there's a reason why I don't use color in my doodle challenges, and that's something that she would love to see. Honestly, the main reason I don't really use color in my doodles is that I just don't have the time most days. Like, I'm usually kind of rushing. To get my shit done. And so I only have so much time in the first place. I usually don't have enough time during the day to add extra color. And like, I like the aesthetic of just the black and white, so that's probably part of it. And part of it's just because I don't have a lot of time when I'm doodling. I try my hardest to just get through it for the practice, but then get moving to something else. So I might do it at some point if I can dedicate a little bit more time to it. So I have two questions that are kind of just like a little bit random, and then I have several questions that kind of address the same thing. And I'm going to talk about the big group of them last. I'm going to take a second while I do my lettering challenge and talk about the two kind of random questions. Like, not random in that they are random to ask, but just that the other ones are so kind of in the same zone as each other, it makes more sense to answer them together. So the first one is from Gemma Saunders. Wanted to know what I think about when people buy an expensive planner and then whitening it out and covering it with stickers. She's having trouble wrapping her mind around the idea of spending all that money and then covering it all up. Spending more money to cover it all up. Today's lettering is, if you want my body and you think I'm sexy. Yeah, Rod Stewart, do you think I'm sexy? So here's my thought on it. My thought is, whether it is for functional purposes, that's not really even fair to say, because I feel like if it functions for you in the sense that maybe it makes you happy or that it serves a purpose for you, even if that purpose is a hobby purpose and not a productivity purpose, then it's functional for you. Like, functional does not have to mean it is, only, a perfect plan of your day or whatever. I spend, $55 or whatever on Erin Condren planner, and I put a bunch of stickers on it because it puts my personality on it. The bones of the planner are still there. The structure of the planner is still there. I've just super customized it to be what I want it to be, which is part of the hobby for me. It gives me pleasure to spend some time making something my own. And I feel like that is the same for anybody who wants to decorate, whether they're drawing in their own layout in a bullet journal or whether they're buying a planner and putting a bunch of stickers on it. At the root of it, you're taking something that was mass produced, whether it was just a plain notebook or a planner with a whole week put into it, and you're making it your own. I think that that's the heart of this hobby of decorative planning. Really, it's not a question of how much it costs, but how much somebody is willing to spend on their hobby. So if you personally don't think you could spend, you know, that much money on a planner and then cover it all up, then buy a cheaper planner and cover it all up, or buy an expensive planner and don't cover it up, because that's what you like and what you want. I don't advocate anybody ever spend money they shouldn't be spending on something. I think you need to be realistic with how much money you have to spend on a hobby and how much money you have prioritized to spend on a hobby and how much you are willing, you know what I mean? Like, what's realistic for you? But then at that point, if it makes you happy, that's a good enough answer for me. And so maybe that's what I think about it. It's my best answer for that. That's not really a good one. I'm gonna just move to the next blank spread. I'm saving this. I don't know what I'm saving this for, but I like to have a full spread for my bullet journaling, so this blank page will be used for something at some point. But I'm gonna pull this washi out. I wasn't using it, but I'm gonna bring it back. This Simply Gilded one that I really love that I'm running out of because I use it so much. Amanda S asked if I have any good Netflix or Hulu binge recommendations. I'm not the best person to ask for a couple of reasons. One, I don't stay on top of what the cool kids are doing when it comes to TV and Netflix and whatever. I have no idea most of the time. And two, often when I binge something I've seen already because it's like rereading. I'm a creature of habit. I go back to the things I know I like rather than risk that I'm gonna spend a bunch of time on something I don't like. On Netflix, the shows my husband and I binge watched that we really loved, it's probably not gonna be any surprise because we're not revolutionary in that respect, are Mindhunter and Stranger Things. We watched the first season of Making a Murderer. We haven't watched the second one yet though. And then on Hulu, my husband loves the shit out of watching Drunk History. I watched The Exorcist, which was on there, and I really love that if you like horror. And if you also like horror, I haven't watched it yet, but it's on my to watch list because I loved the book, is The Passage. So I have not, and they're not done yet. They're still in the middle of making the first season. I have not watched it yet though, so if you've watched it, don't tell me how it is, because I'm gonna start watching it when I have some spare time. But the Passage books are fantastic. They're vampires. You can tell I like horror. America's Next Top Model's on Hulu, so you can always go back and rewatch some of that if you get really bored. That's what we do. I only go up to like season 10, but that's enough for me. Notice I've been keeping up with my page numbers. Aren't you proud of me? I hope you are. Now that I've answered those, here is kind of the biggie, and they all kind of go together. I'm gonna read all three questions and then I'm going to sort of talk about it as like a whole because it's kind of the same topic. Vicky Buckley asked for ways to allow yourself some slack when you have a chronic illness or other restraints. She's constantly feeling like she puts too much pressure on herself, and the whole point of the planner is to help, not to hinder. And then Diane asked, would you be willing to include commentary about how you are feeling is affecting how you plan? They appreciate when you have reminders or chronic pain reality checks or something about hearing someone else say it that makes her feel better. And then the third question is from Melanie Nelson. She asks, what do you do with things that you need to do every day and then you find on certain days 0 things can't get done? I always end up feeling guilty that I couldn't even do my daily tasks. So I feel like all three of these kind of go together under the header. And this is another fucking video series I could probably do. You guys all seem to like the idea of me doing, and I also, P.S., I recognize that yesterday was not Thursday. This was not Thursday, this was Wednesday. So today is Thursday, and I'm writing that in. I was gonna try something different, and I totally forgot to do that right now. Whatever. I feel like all of these have to do with planning with a chronic illness, which I could also do a video series or a couple of videos on in May or in March after Plan As You Go is over. So if that's something you're interested in, I'd love to hear about that in the comments below. But in general, I'm just gonna kind of touch on this. I'll lead with what Diane asked. How I am feeling most definitely impacts how I plan. And it's not so much a day-to-day thing, although it is a day-to-day thing. Part of it is that I have had to learn to be a little more flexible with how I think about my time and a little bit more reasonable with how much stuff I'm willing to pack into a day. I am somebody who does not feel accomplished unless I am running like a chicken with my head cut off from thing to thing and just completely slam-packed busy each day. That's not really healthy in general, but especially when you have chronic illness like I do and your energy is impacted and your pain levels are higher, that's not realistic. So I've had to learn, and it's a process, I'm not there yet, I'm still in the middle of it, if you can't tell, set a more realistic expectation of how much I could expect to get done, even on a good day. Like, not just on a bad day. On a good day, I need to reset my expectations, and that's something I've been working on. And it's something I try and keep in the front of my mind, is Cindy Be fucking real with yourself. Don't assume that you have the energy to do all the things you could do when your kidney function was fine and you weren't hurting every day. Like, you're not the same anymore. And this can go for anybody as time goes on and your life circumstances change. That's something I just have to continually remind myself of. And that has definitely impacted how I plan my life out, because I have to be a little bit more aware that I can't just decide to do things. I need to really think about how the things I'm going to do are going to impact my day. As an example, I want to plan March out in my business today. That is one line on my planner. It looks like right here. This is one line in my bullet journal. That one line represents hours of sitting at my desk at the computer doing some deep thinking. You look at it, it just looks like one thing to check off. I still need to break it down. That's maybe what I'll use this page for. When I look at this one thing, I can't just think about it as one item to check off. I need to think, okay, this is 3 hours at my computer, or whatever the case may be. If I sit at my computer for 3 hours, my kidneys will start to ache and I will need to go for a walk or something to try and make sure I don't feel shitty. So I have to think about that in terms of planning that. Am I gonna be okay with that? It comes up in your mind a lot. Now, when it comes to what Melanie asked about daily tasks and even the days where you can't even get those done, what do I do with them? And how do I deal when I can't do them? One of the things that I've tried to get better at, and I'm not great at it yet, be nice to myself and to not guilt myself when I can't get shit done. It's easier said than done. I try to not guilt myself. This actually goes with Vicky's question too. If there are things in the day that have to get done and I couldn't do them because I'm not feeling good, can somebody else help me with them? Can my husband help me with them? Can my kids help me with them? Can I ask one of my friends to help me with them? If they have to get done, is there any chance somebody else can help me with them because I can't do them that day? Now, it's hard for me. I'm not good at asking for help, but that is one way to deal with it. The other question you could ask yourself is, does it really have to get done today? Does it really? Can it wait till tomorrow? Can it just not get done? Even if I really want it to get done, does it have to get done? I have to ask myself that. And if it does have to get done and nobody can help me with it, generally speaking, I will just push myself to get the thing done and just suffer for it later, which sucks, but that's the only real solution I have. When it comes to cutting myself some slack, I'm not good at it. I still am not good at it. Like, I'm awful at cutting myself slack. I don't know how to be nice to myself when I feel like I'm failing, especially when that failing is happening and it's not because I was like lazy or procrastinating, which has happened, but like because I'm just not feeling good. It's part of the constant battle that I'm facing in my head over the anger and resentment I feel at my body for giving up on me. So when I can't get something done and I'm mad at myself about it, I'm not just mad because I didn't get it done. I'm mad because of the circumstances that caused me to not be able to get it done. I'm mad because my kidney function is dropping and I'm only 39. I shouldn't have to be feeling this way every single day, and that sucks. And now I can't do some regular things in my life that other people can do without thinking about it. And then I get even more mad because of that. Like, I am resentful and I'm mad at my body a lot of the time. And so it makes it really difficult to give myself some slack when I have the combination of being pissed that I didn't get the thing done and being pissed at myself for being so sick that I couldn't get it done in the first place. That's part of why I'm in therapy. The best way to give yourself some slack is to remind yourself that you're human, and that even if you're sick and that's why you couldn't get things done, don't assume that anybody else has an easy time of it, because they also are human and they may have some shit, and you just probably don't see it. So you're not alone in that. Find someone, whether it's a spouse or a friend or a family member or an online person, who you can tell, I'm having a bad day, talk me down. Somebody you can trust to talk you down. Find someone who can talk you down, because if you're not good at giving yourself some slack, they might be. And for me, with my husband, when I'm struggling, I'm like mad at myself because I can't do something, he will talk me down. And even if I can't give myself some slack, he'll tell me to give myself some slack. And coming from somebody else, I'm more likely to do it. I won't give myself slack if I'm trying to do it, but I'll give myself slack if my husband tells me to give myself slack. So find someone to help you with that. I feel like I didn't answer those questions entirely, but I did kind of give you some of the insight on them. And like I said, I will try and do more dedicated videos. If that's something you're interested in, let me know in the comments. Now I'm gonna finish filling this out, because I found that when I start rambling on one of these big subjects, I can't actually pay attention to what I'm writing. All right, so here's my list for today. I've got those planning things on here, scheduling the live plan with me for this coming up Sunday at 2:30 p.m. Pacific time. Once that goes up, you can hit notifications on it. I actually put on here to edit Monday's podcast, which is already recorded. I don't know if I'm gonna get to that or not, but I'd like to because then I don't have to worry about it tomorrow. I need to do it when nobody's home because I have to record the intro and the outro to it. Picking that song I talked about, getting some work done, folding towels. I think that this is plenty for today, so that's what I'm gonna leave it as, and hopefully that means that I get a couple of these things done or at least started. I can check some more shit off on my power sheets. Notice I did not put meal planning on here. It was basically meal planning or editing the podcast, and I feel like if I edit the podcast today, then I'm good. We'll figure it out. I might meal plan this evening. If my husband has band practice tonight, then I may wind up getting more shit done tonight, because when I'm home by myself, I can actually get a lot of things done, or I just watch TV. It depends on my mood. I hope that this helped you. If you have a chronic illness or anything that impedes sometimes how your days go, leave your tips in the comments. And if you would like to hear more about my thoughts on it in dedicated videos next month, let me know about that as well. And as always, if you have questions, I'm thinking about doing one of those assumptions videos that people have been doing where I let you guys give me assumptions that you have about me and addressing them in one of these Plan As You Goes. What do you think about that? If I do that, I may have you leave them for me on Instagram because it's a little easier to collate, but I'm not sure yet. So let me know in the comments if you think that that would be fun. Thank you so much for watching. Have a fabulous rest of your day. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in tomorrow's Plan As You Go video.